some herb in there right in the middle. You could
And now
probably actually do a dab off it.
before everyone comes checking on the website and being like, when's the pita bread going to be available on the website? Like, I want the pita bread. I want to hit that pita bread. These are a limited edition vape. You can't get a pita bread vape in the UK at the moment. This is just a tester. When we have the pita bread available, we will let you know, and then you will be the first to know that the pita bread is available.
Is it from Storts and Bickle?
Yeah, this is the new Mighty Plus.
Very cool. Very cool indeed. We do actually have some new things to play with today. I don't know quite where to start. Shall we start with herb or concentrates? What do you guys think?
Yeah, chat. Let us know. What should we start with?
We got like 4 devices, I think, to go through. I've got 2, and I believe Dee's got 2. You may only have 1, Dee.
I do have 2, but I've also got
2?
updates on my opinion on the Puffco Pro 2.
Okay,
Puffco Peak Pro. That's it.
yeah, so we've got a lot of bits to get through. Hey yo, Uber Dog. Zotigus says herb.
I agree.
Paul B agrees.
I agree.
Adam agrees. Let's do herb then first. So these are, we got sent a bunch of samples by X-Max X Vape, the well-known Chinese manufacturer. This is the Ace, which is well known in certain circles for its patent cleaning design, which it proudly proclaims on the packaging there, as you can see. And D has got the, what's it called? The Aria. Okay, so I think these are both, I'm not sure of pricing on the Aria or the, what's this called? The Ace. Let's have a look. I'm going to look it up now. X-Max Ace. Drum roll. X-Max Ace. Not many places selling it, actually. Let's see. Yeah, in $130 at one store for the X-Max Ace. And the X-Max Aria, see if we can find a price for that somewhere. $89.99. So yeah, they're kind of at the lower end of the scale when it comes to portable vape. Certainly $89.99. That's quite a budget vape. So I'll show you the Ace first of all. It looks very much like a slightly fatter sort of starry or spirit. Like here's the spirit. So it's just slightly sort of wider and a bit shorter. Same sort of width. And the difference is that it's got a very similar cubic zirconia mouthpiece. I noticed that the actual opening of the mouthpiece is wider. So you can see there, you can pull quite a bit more vapor through, as you can see there. Other than that, the sort of inside is very similar. It has a ceramic, like cooling pearl type thing in there. Whole mouthpiece comes apart like that. Unlike most of the other devices that you can get from X-Max X Vape with that kind of mouthpiece, this one doesn't have an oval chamber. It's got a cylindrical chamber, and I'm trying to work out what material the actual chamber is. Looks like a metal bottom and maybe a sort of quartz sides to the bowl there. Can't quite see. Don't know if you guys can make anything out. Looks like it could be glass or quartz on the inside, but this is the exciting bit about it. Check this out. When you're done with your bowl and you want to empty it, you got this great big button on the side. Push that in, and the whole bowl, the bottom of the bowl pushes up, so that you can just empty it straight out by pushing that button. So it's an interesting new thing. I've got to be honest, it's not something I ever thought. I wish my vape had a sort of button so that I could easily empty out the herb. But, you know, maybe it will come in handy for kind of out and about usage. It is a removable, swappable battery, an 18650 in there at the bottom. And it's got this kind of, I don't know what you'd call this. It's almost like a fabric, like a woven fabric body to it.
Like carbon mesh or something?
Like
Yes.
a carbon fiber, yeah.
Yeah, it's
actually softer. Like I can dent it with my fingernail.
Yeah, it feels like soft fabric almost, and I don't think carbon fiber normally feels like that, does it?
Like
So,
essentially, it's like rubber, I think.
mhm.
It's been made to look a little bit like carbon fiber.
So I'm going to turn it on. It's got exactly the same display that you'd find on the Spirit or the Starry. Can't quite see it there on the camera, but yeah, it goes up to 240, just like those do. 5-minute auto shut off, just like those. So I'm going to set it to 200. I've already done a couple of burn offs on this just to get the bowl nice and fresh. So I'll start loading that up, and maybe Dee, you can talk about the Aria.
So the Aria is really, really ugly.
Well, they're not all that color. That is
No.
They come in a range of colors. So yeah, it doesn't have to be that color.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be this ugly. This is, what was this one called? It had an interesting name. Scarab green.
Yeah.
Scarab green. Yeah, the white balance in here isn't giving off how unpleasant it is. It's made of a similar kind of like soft material to this. Like if I put my fingernail in, it leaves a mark, but it does go away. Like I think
It's almost like a sort of foamy type of feel to it, isn't it?
Yeah, like leather maybe, like fake leather, which is a strange thing to have on a vape. It feels kind of odd. It feels like maybe like an attempting to be fancy pen. Other than that, it looks like an attempt to improve on maybe like the Spirit or the Sapphire. It's more, I don't know, solid sounding, I guess, the other two, but I've never really picked up a Sapphire and thought that it was not solid. This mouthpiece, earlier, George, you said it was plastic, but I actually think it might all be made of cubic zirconia.
Really?
Not
interesting.
cubic zirconia, zirconia ceramic.
Zirconia ceramic. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because if you look, it's black.
Oh yeah.
And transitions straight to the shiny black. So
interesting. Okay, so it's just like a polished ceramic on the outside.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it really did look to me. I didn't really pay much attention to it because as soon as I saw that mouthpiece, I was like, oh, it's plastic mouthpiece. And I just disregarded it straight away. But if it is ceramic, I quite like that, actually.
It's quite a lot of ceramic if you look in here.
Interesting. And as I'm loading this up, I just want to display this, that there is a really rather nice sort of simple loading, like smooth entrance to the chamber here, rather similar to the Da Vinci IQ. So I can just chuck all this herb on there and it will just sort of slide down into the bowl, which is quite nice for on the move. So feels like this is maybe made with use out and about in mind. So yeah, just loading it up. It's already heated, so there we go. I'm going to take a rip on this beast now.
This comes with the same stuff that the Sapphire or Spirit comes with, which is a herb or resin capsule. Sort of little rubberized mouthpiece for the mouthpiece. Some screens, which are a little bit different than the screens on the Sapphire, or at least the one in the actual unit is, which is different. Like it's got these little edges.
Looks a bit more solid, like you might actually be able to pull that out easily, which is sometimes a bit difficult with the Spirit and the Sapphire, because once it gets stuck down there with residue, It's kind of welded down there. That looks like it's almost got tabs on the sides to allow you to pull it up.
Yeah, in fact,
more easily.
It doesn't actually come with a screen for the bottom of the thing. These are actually screens for the mouthpiece.
Okay, yeah. What I'm finding as I'm hitting this is works very similar to X-Max vapes that you might be familiar with, but it's got much more airflow than I'm used to. It's actually got a little hole in the bottom here, which appears to be the airflow inlet. So at first it kind of took me by surprise. So I'm taking I'll show you what I mean. I'll draw as hard as I can. And it wasn't really giving me much vapor when I did that. I'll show you.
Watching blowing on my dick like a basset board. Jizz on your mouth like that.
Okay, thanks. So yeah, I was hitting that, pulling really hard on it, and I did get vapor, but it was quite airy. But if you kind of put your finger a little bit over the bottom of it, or maybe if I really densely pack the chamber,
Use it like a carb.
and I'm getting a bit better hit. I've got to say the flavor's not that great. The flavor's not as good as the Spirit or the Starry. So maybe it's something to do with that chamber. You know, it tastes a bit toasty to me, almost like it's a metal chamber. So I'm not sure what's going on there.
I haven't actually got any herbs, so I can't test out the herb variety tonight.
Okay, fair enough.
I've got concentrate, so we'll be able to test out the other thing.
Okay.
I'm gonna do a burn off just to see if it gives off any like smells.
It's got nice haptic feedback, just turned itself off and gave me a nice buzz. I think I like the shape of this. I think if this was this shape because it had 2 batteries in it, I'd be all over it. I'd be like, okay, bit more power, maybe a bigger chamber, you know, that kind of thing. Nice big mouthpiece. I like that idea. I'm not so sure I'm that excited about the cleaning system. Let's put it to use and see how effective this actually is. Here we go. So there we go. The herb's not coming out, see, because it's stuck in there because I've been vaping it. Now push the button. There it goes.
Nice.
Yeah, well, it works.
Well,
It's emptied that out fully.
We've got another new name. Let's see if it's the same person to play the same song.
Ali Grant. Well, it's again a no camera person, which is suspect in the least.
I think Ali Grant, are you imposter? Reveal camera to prove you are not imposter. I'm getting the vibe that they are imposter.
I think they are imposter. Probably stealing all our data as we speak.
Oh, God.
Selling it to Bezos.
Suspect. Hello.
I think Ali Grant, are you imposter?
Ah!
Sounds like a painful toilet situation going on there with Ali Grant. Must have been a troublesome bowel movement happening over there, I think.
Yeah. I'm sorry for your bowels, Ali.
Yeah, my apologies. So thanks for the update anyway. Do keep us informed on the state of play there at the Grant toilet. So next up, concentrates. So concentrates we have, again, all from X-Max. We have this thing, the Vista Mini 2 portable smart rig from X-Vape. So this is obviously the X-Vape approach to the e-rig sort of revolution. And here it is. Definitely inspired, I think, in bubbler shape, at least by the Puffco Peak, I would say. But then there is some extra shit going on here that makes it a little bit science experimenty. Do you know what I mean? Like, mouthpiece is separatable here, uses a 14 male into a 14 female. Interesting move. Probably easy to clean that way. And I guess if you had the right adapters, that could mean you could rig it up to your own rigs. Like maybe if you had a 14 male to 14 male drop down, put one end in here, one end in your other glassware, and you could hook it up that way. But it's got its own built-in bubbler here. This is the sort of base of the unit. It's got one button on there. It's got a micro USB socket on the back. This is a removable carb cap here. Now that's a hell of a carb cap. What do you make of this, Dee? This sort of house
is a bizarre carb cap. Like,
yeah.
It doesn't look like it's particularly directional, but I don't know how important that is with a device like this one.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you have got a fair amount of play here. So you could do some sort of directional, but the thing is, because the top of it isn't directly over the top of the atomizer, you could also be directing the air right down the sides. You know, it's not, so you've got to be very careful with your aim when you're trying to do directional stuff here. I'm not sure if that's really been considered. And then this is the atomizer.
Oh, George, your audio's dropped out.
Back in. Let me know when you can hear me. Can you hear me? Good. Okay.
We can hear you.
What happens here? This is the atomizer. Okay, this is a bit dirty, this one, because I just left this smoking off. So it's got a bit of soot down there in the bottom. But this is like a quartz glass bowl with a heating element kind of encased in it at the bottom there. And then like the bubbler sits on top of this thing, and look, this is how you take it apart. You unscrew this bit, and then that goes right the way through the middle of the bubbler. It's quite an interesting, and that is what the atomizer ends up attached to. So I've never seen anything like that. That is a strange design to me, but you know, I like the way these people are trying to come up with alternatives to the designs that we've all seen. Doesn't take much water, which is nice, and it's quite a straightforward percolator, so I think that'll be quite good for flavor. And then these atomizers look quite easy to just unscrew and replace. So what you do is you select your temperature. Let's see, there we go. I've got it turned on. It's got 3 temperature settings. I've got it on the hottest one, which is the red one. So I'm going to load some concentrate in there. And maybe Dee, you can talk us through the one you've got.
So what I've got is the Cuomo, or Como. I'm not really sure how they want you to pronounce it, but it's really, really tiny. So this is the Peak Pro.
Wow.
Cuomo.
Tiny thing.
You can see where it's drawing its inspiration from. Obviously, it doesn't perform the same. I'm not going to say it performs the same as even the regular Peak, but I quite like this for certain things. There are things about it that I would like changed, I guess. Like this carb cap is a little bit, like if it was all glass, this carb cap, it'd be a little bit nicer because it would probably just be a little bit cooler on the fingers. But overall, like you can actually get some pretty good rips out of this. Like if you're on the second heat cycle, it's actually not bad. It seems like it wants you to load it like the Puffco Pro, but I don't know if I would do that, because even just from putting a dab in there, this thing collected loads of oil that didn't end up vaporizing, so about like a dab's worth. So yeah,
that is definitely more directional though, with that little noodle hanging down. You can point that right at the concentrates in the dish, can't you?
It actually comes out the side of the noodles.
Okay.
So it will actually knock the oil off of the sides of the bowl, I reckon, which is kind of good because a lot of the other ones blow downwards, and then that pushes the resin up to the sides of the bowl. Whereas if you blow onto the side, it pushes it into the center, which is probably why the new Puffco Peak carb does that as well.
So the one you've got, the Cuomo, is $89. The one I've got here, the Vista Mini 2, is $159. So both are definitely cheaper than the Puffco Peak, but are they any good? You know, it's no good it being cheaper if it doesn't. I'm going to take a hit on this now.
I should take a hit on this.
Mm. Yeah. It's a reasonable dab. It seemed to take a little while to get there. Oh, there we go. It definitely gets really hot on the bottom of that chamber. You can see the element glowing. And yeah, I don't think it's really possible to direct the air at all with this thing, but you can at least like tap your finger over the hole and do some stuff that way. Kind of smoky towards the end, to be honest. The flavor of it is...
George. Yep.
Yeah, I really got to get this microphone sorted out. But yeah, I don't think I'd replace my Puffco Peak with this. It's okay, and it's obviously quite a bit cheaper than the Puffco Peak. I think, you know, it does the job, but the flavor's not as good as the Peak. I mean, there are good things about it. It's a little bit sort of smaller and lighter and slightly more compact. But I'm not sure. I think I prefer the Peak personally. And I don't know if this even would factor into my decision making, to be totally honest. I think actually what Dee's got, the Cuomo, appeals to me more because it's so much smaller. You know, so how does it actually hit the Cuomo, Dee?
I'll just hit it now.
I took a hit on it earlier, and I found once it warmed up, it was giving me good hits. It's kind of like between a good pen and a Puffco Peak. It's in the middle there somewhere. And that really takes a tiny, tiny drop of water, doesn't it? It's got such a small bubbler. You really need very little water.
In fact, that's still too much water.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like quite hard. If you fill it up to the fill line, it's not enough. And you've got to get it just below that so you don't get water in your mouth.
Mm. Yeah, it's very tiny bubbler, like unbelievably small. And actually, when I had it full to where it's supposed to be full, I could lay the whole thing totally horizontal on the table and no water would spill out because of the shape of the bubbler. So I did quite like that. I thought if you're going to throw that in your pocket, there's not much risk that you're going to spill the water, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it takes like a few heat cycles to actually get going, but once it does get going, it's surprisingly good. I don't think it would work great outdoors, maybe just because of how cold it is outdoors at the moment, but maybe during the summertime this would be a great little like beach rig, like if you didn't peek out or whatever.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to know how many hits you get on that battery as well. It's a different chamber, isn't it, that one? It's not the same. Like I've got a sort of quartz with a wire coil underneath it. That is very different, isn't it?
No, this is pretty much the same as any other of the coil design of the sort of cup bowl designs. It's just got like straight up sides, and then it has a little bit of an overhang so oil can't go up around the outer edges. And then it just kind of heats up in the bottom of the bowl and the vapor comes out of the top, like in a banger, in a way.
So it's pure ceramic all the way up and down.
And there's no gap on the side like on some bowls have. It just looks like a, like an actual bowl rather than two pieces, like a cylinder and a disc at the bottom.
Okay, we've got a question coming in here from John Cockstone. He says, I need help with terp pens. I have the Puffco Plus. I clean after every load with a Q-tip. Just doesn't seem to have flavor. Always tastes burnt. Am I expecting too much from a terp pen / nectar collector? Well, firstly, Puffco Plus is not what I would call a nectar collector. And I'm not sure what a terp pen is. Is that just what people are calling dab pens nowadays? Have you ever heard this term, terp pen? But what I would say is I think the flavor on the Puffco Plus is great, personally. I'm trying to think what I do. I clean it out with a Q-tip too. What temperature are you using it at, John? Are you using a high temp or a low temp? Generally, the lower temp, the better flavor you'll get, but you won't get the big, thick clouds. Yeah, I don't know what else to suggest. Actually, the only nectar collectors I've only tried a couple really, and my favorite one of the ones that I've tried is the Lynx one, the Lynx Aries Honey Straw, which is pretty good. I hear good things about the Boundless one. In fact, Odd Joe Bold has just mentioned that, the Boundless Terp pen. So interesting stuff. I'm not sure what to suggest. I mean, maybe it's the material, John Cockstone. Maybe if you had better material, you'd get better flavor out of your Puffco. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, the Puffco I always found had really good flavor, because you haven't really got very much space between your mouth and like where you're inhaling the material from. So you've just got quite a lot of fresh flavor to go from, which is really nice.
Yeah, John says I use green temp, so yeah, you're not on the hottest temp. My nectar collector is Yokan Dive Mini. Can't say I've tried that one. Same thing, burned taste. Guess I'm doing it wrong. I use Laser Cat Premium Lava, which sounds like it's probably high-end material. I don't know, but I'm sure it is. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, John. I'd have to see you doing it. Maybe it's something to do with, are you holding down the button for a long time before you're inhaling, or are you doing both at the same time? I generally get good flavor out of a Puffco Plus. But then, one person's good flavor is not the same thing to somebody else. I guess all our taste buds are different. So, some people say the Firefly, for example, is like the best flower flavor you can get in a portable device. And I would kind of agree. But some people say, no, it tastes burnt and popcorny and gross, and they'd rather have a crafty or something. So, who knows? Zoticus agrees Laser Cat is quality stuff. So yeah, who knows? I don't know. I do not know what to suggest. You've got me stumped, John. Terp pen does not have the best taste compared to a bucket you can wipe out with a coil. You have to constantly feed it, otherwise it tastes like crap. Yeah, interesting. Well, I think, do you like that thing, the little Puffco Peak Cuomo? That's it.
What,
yeah. Yeah.
I mean, this gets very hot. Like, I've just burnt my fingers again, even though I already know that it's hot, which is a bit annoying. The bubbler's really small, to the point where George was noticing earlier. I'm not going to do this directly over the laptop, but you can tip this quite a long way. Like if you look at the device, it's almost all the way horizontal. So if it was sitting on a table, this might. Let me just check that. Yeah, when you knock it over on the table, the water doesn't come out.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. I do like that.
Yeah, I'm rolling it over, and the water's not coming out, and it's back up, and the water's still in, and that's good. Yeah, that's good. Like, I mean, I think it's a pretty good little pocket device. It seems pretty solid, and I'm guessing that these bubblers are going to be pretty cheap. So I'm not saying like break bubblers all the time and replace, because that's not necessarily the best thing for the environment. But in terms of like, if you do break it, it doesn't seem like it's going to be the end of the world. The air path is pretty accessible. I haven't actually checked. There was something I wanted to look at. It might be hard to do whilst this is this hot. Yes.
What's that? The atomizer.
I want to see whether you can take the silicon out from underneath the atomizer, because there's quite a long gap between the atomizer and the.
It didn't look to me like you could pull that silicone out, but then I didn't give it a good tug.
No, it seems fixed.
Mm-hmm.
So if you look, I don't know if you can see. Let me just get my phone torch. Do you see in there in the hole?
Mm-hmm.
Like not fully open, like it's not been like manufactured like very well. Like there's like a
Yeah, it's almost like a mutant turtle's mouth.
yeah, where it probably should be square. Like you can see it's meant to be square, but then
You
there's
know what I mean?
bits of rubber, and then the other side is square. So I think it's like would be quite hard to clean in there. Like there'd be a gap where you wouldn't really be able to get a Q-tip because it's very, very small. So I'm hoping you'd just be able to like, pop this silicon at the top out, maybe. I mean, that would have also possibly given you access to the battery, because it looks like, the battery would probably be around about here, I'm guessing. So if you pop the silicon out, they could easily give you like a little battery flap. But yeah, it's just fixed in here and hard to get to because it's like quite deep. So I guess that's something to bear in mind if you do end up choosing to buy one of these. But it is so cheap that I think that that's not as much of an issue as if like if the Puffco Peak had that, like especially the Peak Pro, I'd be pissed off. But with this, I don't really mind. Like it's quite a cheap device. Like I don't expect it to be like completely perfect.
Yeah, I mean, I think for the price, that's the thing, because I was looking at it and I was thinking, oh, this is like, I'll compare this to the Puffco Peak. But actually, the price, it's actually cheaper than the Puffco Plus. So it's actually really competing with pens rather than e-rigs. And even the size of it isn't much bigger than a pen. It's more like a sort of mod-based, tank or something. It's that sort of size and shape. So in that case, I do like it, as a sort of super portable dabbing device that's got the bubbler and stuff that a pen normally doesn't have. I mean, that is quite cool, actually. But then, the one disappointing bit is that you need to go for that second hit to get a really satisfying thick dab. You can't get it straight away, which you can with the Puffco Plus. You can put it straight on Sesh mode and you get that. Miles is getting angry back there.
Oh, but activated Buster. Oh, George, you're muted.
Sorry, yeah, I'm muted myself because I'm shouting at Milesy, who's making chicken noises at the front door for some reason. There's nobody there.
I need to shout at Buster, so I'm going to mute myself.
So Zoticus was chatting in the chat there and saying that he's got in contact with the Tiny Mite dude for repairs, and that's pretty impressive stuff. I'm hearing some mixed stories. Some people are able to get straight through to Tiny Mite, some people aren't. So I'm glad that Zoticus managed to get through. I think there's a quite a severe sort of inbox down at Tiny Mite headquarters with piling up emails and stuff at the moment. So hopefully they'll get on top of that at some point.
I mean, I would love to work for him remotely. Like, just give me some emails. I'll work through them, you know, like just send some people some responses. I don't know. I mean, he should definitely hire just some more people or something.
Yeah, I believe he's hired some more people because I sent him an email and I got a reply back from somebody else, somebody named David. So there's at least one other person now working there, which is good news. And actually, I got a response to my query like faster than I usually would. And it looks like Zoticus has as well. So maybe things are turning the corner over there at Tiny Mite headquarters. But I just love that device. I just wish, you know, we had more of them and more people had more of them, because I feel I've almost hidden mine away because I feel guilty when I get it out now. Because like so many people are like, when can I get one of those? I've been waiting months.
They're harder to get than a PS5.
Yeah, they kind of are, it seems. But yeah, hopefully that will resolve itself pretty soon, because I'd love to see more from Tiny Mite. Like, I mean, there's so many things that I'd love to see from Tiny Mite, like different devices, alternative mouthpieces, you know, like a Tiny Mite 2 maybe with some more features and stuff. Like I've got all these ideas. If I was in charge of Tiny Mite, I'd be, you know, holding meetings and doing, you know, like brainstorming sessions about what new products we're going to work on. But I guess they're so busy just keeping up with the orders for the core product. So here we go. Right. Anybody else got any questions for us? Because I've run out of things to say here. We've got 20 minutes or more to go. What have you got?
Any word on the Plus?
No, nothing from the Plus. What we have heard is that there was a documentary. Somebody sent me a link. There is a documentary somewhere online called something like 20 Years of Storz and Bickel. And I think it's Jürgen Bickel is asked a question about the Mighty Plus, and he actually goes into like detail about it, what's in it. And it's like improved battery and a couple of other things. You know, nothing mind-blowing. It's all the kind of stuff that we expected. But it's the first time that I know of that they've actually admitted that it is a thing, that it is going to come. So I don't know when. It's obviously too late to come out in time for Christmas. Maybe it'll be sometime next year now. But yeah, it seems like the cat's out of the bag anyway on that documentary clip that I saw. I think it's on YouTube or somewhere. So keep an eye out for that. Let's see if I can.
Maybe he revealed the boring details and he's hiding some big changes. That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah. Well, maybe. What is the big change that you want to see most of all, Adam?
I don't know, to be honest. But I feel like it's what do you think, Paul?
Someone said it before, standing up, a better battery. I can't think of much. I love it.
I've just posted the 20 Years of Storz and Bickel link. The video is actually right here on YouTube. I'm going to just
maybe get it rechargeable, like on a Wii charger. That would be cool.
Like a charging base kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, if you guys.
This is annoying.
Yeah, the cable is annoying. It'd be good if it was faster charging, but I think DC is pretty fast already. So,
to be honest, I would just say bigger bulb if I had to say anything. Like, what is it? A 0.3 gram bulb?
Yeah,
it could be
like
bigger.
Maybe heat on demand would be cool. You know, pure convection. Like, imagine if it was like just a totally reliable heat on demand, like Mighty, you know, a great big, like portable.
I wish it had more of a session mode that, like, I think you guys have talked about it also, where it temperature steps itself and it doesn't turn off on you so quickly. It's it's turned off on me like 3 times since we've been. And I'm like,
Right. Yeah.
let's turn it back on.
Maybe if it had some motion sensors in it or something, so that if you're holding it, it doesn't turn itself off, something like that. Be cool. We've got somebody asking us, is there any chance Vape Fiend will be stocking the new Simrel mouthpiece and condenser in the new year? That's from Dravidian Hermit.
Yeah, I mean, as I said in the chat, we will most likely, if they make them available to us. I think when I spoke last, they said they would be available. I know that they were saying that we could have some of the new non-nylon Mighty adapters, but yeah, that's why we've been out of stock of the nylon Mighty adapters. Yeah, anything that they have available for us, we will get it in. I can see that Joe King is in the room.
Oh yeah, so he is. We're doing all the Dynavap stems.
Hey guys,
how's it going? Nice to see you.
I'm working on packaging the bulk order right now.
Excellent. Oh, that's good to know.
So shipping out this week, I'm hoping.
I'm looking forward
But
to getting.
I'll email you all about that.
Awesome. Is that a little heater you're using there? For a minute, yeah, it looked like you were holding like a cup with a straw.
Yeah.
Oh. Nice.
Oh, I've lost the video. Oh,
Yeah, there it is. Okay.
It's a stealth induction cup.
Nice. Uh-oh.
Wow, that's so cool.
It is
It's
cool.
so fancy. Turn it on. And what I like to do is it's a button one. It's not like, it doesn't sense that it's in there. It's just a button. So you put it in when you're ready, and then you can just let go and.
Nice. Yeah, that is perfect, isn't it?
It'll cool down on its own.
Very cool. Reminds me of the old stealth adapter for the Ariza Solo, where you could put the whole Solo in a cup, and then this stealth adapter would go on instead of the mouthpiece, and then you could attach a drinking straw to the stealth adapter, and you could vape through the drinking straw. So it's like you've got like your Subway cup or something with a straw, but you're actually vaping. It was one of the very early stealth vapes. And very effective, actually. If you're walking around with a cup with a straw, people don't even pay any attention. They're just like, oh, it's just someone with a drink, you know. So back in the old stealth vaping days, I know someone who used to go everywhere with that.
I live in an area where it's not legal, so it's really nice for me.
Perfect, yeah.
Plus around family.
Yeah, right.
But then I'm carrying like 2 Yetis, and one actually has a drink in it. And well, this is just for my coffee.
Yeah, there were people asking about the the Mighty Simrel adapter, and yeah, it's going to be stainless steel, and it is the one for the Mighty that they're making stainless steel. But I think they're also
I think it's titanium.
the one for the Simrel told me the other day that it was going to be stainless, because I asked for the nylon ones, and they said that they're working on stainless steel ones.
Awesome.
I think just to make them a little bit cheaper, maybe, just because I think machining in that small would just cost a little bit more, I guess, than if it was just made of stainless steel.
Possibly. I prefer titanium, but stainless steel is nice because you can have the same design, and it's a little heavier. So some people prefer heavier than titanium.
Yeah, I think the nature of the part, I think it doesn't matter too much for it because of it, like its heating properties or anything. Like it's not coming in contact with that much vapor, and it's not.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to ask. Does it impart any different flavor, titanium versus stainless steel, or anything like that?
Because it's not a heat surface.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
thinking about it personally, because I've been experimenting with stainless steel and titanium for months, and titanium feels smoother, but it also could just be because in my mind I know it's titanium and it's lighter, and it feels like holding the stainless steel assassin stem. You know you're holding it. You can feel it's pretty heavy.
He's frozen up, I think.
Oh. Paul, we're getting requests in the
So when you
chat.
hold the, there's a huge difference.
Camera.
Oh, this is
I
Monkey.
think I got a phone call, so I had to exit out.
Ah, that's what's going on.
Monkey
Okay.
looks like they're really enjoying that scratch.
Yeah.
Uber Dog says, "You cat is thick, flubby fluffer."
He's a sweetie.
Well, hey guys,
He's
I gotta head
usually
out.
very
I'm gonna
shy.
get back to putting these orders together.
Awesome. Nice to see you, Joe. Thanks for dropping by.
It was nice chatting with you all.
Nice to see you.
Enjoy
Take it
your
easy.
Tuesday evening.
Thank you.
I gotta head out too.
Okay, take it easy, Adam. Thanks
Yeah,
for
bye,
dropping by.
Adam. It was great
Nice to see
seeing
you.
you, bud.
Yeah, good to see you, Paul. Take care, everyone.
Take care. So let's think about later in the week. Have we got any time in our schedules for a bit of Among Us, you guys? Yeah,
Later in the week.
later in the week. Yeah, I've been getting into this. You know, I enjoy our little Among Us sessions.
It's a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun. In
Mhm.
fact, we've been considering, because we can't really do much of a Christmas party at Vape Fiends this year. We're still in kind of restrictions, not a full lockdown, but it's restrictions here. And there's word that it's going to get tighter just in the run up to Christmas, certainly in our area. So we're thinking maybe we might have a virtual Vape Fiend Christmas party with an Among Us sort of marathon going at the same time. So some of us will be joining from the bunker, and then obviously we'll hopefully get people like Paul B jumping in and whoever else wants to join in. So I think that'll be right before Christmas, like 21st or 23rd of December, something like that.
I'm up for it.
Yeah, excellent.
For sure.
Okay. Well, that'll be good. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, if you guys want to join in, then bear that in mind. Zoticus, you're invited. I can see him liking the sound of it. I will try it out even if I don't understand it. Nice. Well, I don't really understand it.
It's easy. I'm gonna see if I can hook up my PlayStation controller to it, because they say you can, if you can control the PS4, you can control on your iPhone.
Really?
So I'm gonna see if I can do that, because if I can, that'll make it even better.
Okay, nice. So what, you can connect you can use your PlayStation controller to play an iPhone game?
Yes.
Wow.
And you can also use an Xbox controller. Not the new ones, the old versions, like the PS4 and the regular Xbox One or whatever it was called. The newer generations do it as well, but so do the older ones. So most everyone has them. So I'm just gonna, I don't know if it'll work with the app though. So that will be interesting to see.
Yeah, it should be interesting. Foxy Girl Gamer says, "What's the pass?" We don't have a pass. What pass? What? Foxy Girl Gamer, what pass are you asking for? Yeah, but we are going to keep it, you know, spread it out on Discord and on Instagram and stuff when this happens. So just pay attention to our channels and we'll have it up there. It'll be on YouTube as well, I think. So we'll put the link in there. It'll be this exact same Zoom link if you want to join the Zoom. And when we do this kind of thing, usually the Zoom is not broadcast like the cameras, because we can't get everything on screen at the same time. So if you're nervous about joining our Zooms because you're worried that your face is going to be on camera, it won't be while we're playing Among Us. So you can just join in and chat, and we can hear your voice and stuff. So yeah, the puff pass. That's right, Justo Getter. That's what she was after. The puff pass. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I like a bit of Among Us now. I'm not really much of a gamer, to be honest. Sell me on the PS. Is it PS5 now? Sell me on it, Paul B.
It's all about the controller. all about the controller. It's so cool. You know how we have the taptic vibration on the older models? Well, now they got it so advanced that like on the Miles Morales video game, there's a big explosion, and the explosion goes like throughout the block. And while it's going through the block, it's just going through the thing all the way across. And then when you're shooting webs, it feels like it's coming out of your hand. It's hard to explain. When you're on the subway, it feels like you're on the train. It's so funny because I grew up in New York. So I grew up on the trains. And when I started playing this, it felt like I was back on the trains. I'm like, this is so weird. And it's all because of there's a speaker on it now. Well, there was, but it's a lot better now. So it's super cool. I love it. Oh, and the triggers, these back triggers, they're like resistant now. So depending on what you're trying to do, they're harder to pull back than other times.
Wow.
So if you're like pulling a bow string, you feel it, or something like that. Other things, but similar, those kind of things. That last bow got me. Yeah, I stayed up till 4 a.m. the other day playing, and the load times are super quick. The load times are like very fast.
Nice. Is it still discs? Like,
yeah, you can get the disc version or you can get the non-disc version. The non-disc version is a lot harder to get right now, but it's $100 cheaper if you just go with the digital version. The thing is, it doesn't have a lot of memory space. I think it has about 800 gigabytes. You know, nowadays, some video games are about 100, some are 200 gigabytes. So it fills up pretty quick. So people are already talking about that. They have an expansion slot to expand the memory, but they haven't came out with it yet. And only Sony's making them, I think. I think Samsung might be making them as well. So they're going to they'll probably be as hard to get as the console itself.
Interesting. I just don't have the attention span for these kinds of games, to be honest. I lose interest very, very quickly because I'm usually not very good at it. And so I think, hate this thing, and then throw it out. So it's no good for me, but I do love the way it's progressing. Like every time I see a game nowadays, it's like leaps and bounds ahead of the last time I've seen one. And all that stuff. They have
this new feature on it that you put on the actual game system in the settings. You can say if you want to play games easy, standard, hard, very hard. So if you just do it on easy, it'll set it for every single disc you stick in there will just automatically start on the easy mode. So makes it a little easier for people who find it difficult to play certain games.
Why is it better a PS5 than the new Xbox thing that's coming out?
I've never played Xbox. I'm a PlayStation. My age, I grew up with PlayStation. Sony's been around for decades. Xbox, I think, is more for the new generation that grew up with Xbox. People younger than me, for sure. I'm in my 40s. So 46. So it's the same thing. Is their controllers are just a little different than ours. Like ours has 2 here, and then the little direction, and then the direction and the buttons. Theirs is like one of these is up here, so it's a little weird. So if you're a PlayStation person, you're like, I don't get it, because you're so used to this layout. So I think honestly, the PlayStation's for older people. Honestly. But the new version is all about 4K and 120 hertz. If your TV has that capability, then you're good.
Interesting stuff. I'd love to have a go at one of these things one of these days and see if I can actually get my head around it. Because, I find Among Us difficult. And I know games are a lot more complicated than Among Us these days.
Among Us is so complicated because it's all touchscreen. I'm like, damn it, I can't go in the direction out. Like this, you would just use your little direction button and run in whatever direction you want to go. You can't do that on the phone. But again, that's me showing my age. I didn't grow up with those touch screens like the new generation has.
Yeah, a lot of people are agreeing with you. Zoticus says Xbox lost its touch after the 360. And Justo Get a Rep says, I feel the same as Paul about Xbox versus PlayStation. Foxy Girl Gamer, I'm not sure what she's talking about here. She says, Stubble Trouble, original animation. This YouTube video keeps saying it's going to play next to every YouTube video I watch. What? Fair dues. Yeah. Well, I'm running out of steam here and we're almost at 8 o'clock. So it's been nice to catch up, everybody. Thanks for joining. Do come and join us for some Among Us later in the week, I think. When? Thursday?
Friday, it's probably better.
Friday. Okay. Let's do that. Friday for a bit of Among Us. And we'll see you back here on Tuesday for another sesh. Until then, take it easy, everybody. Have a good evening. See you soon.